salmon of knowledge, it's a 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 salmon of knowledge, Edwin Salmon of Knowledge podcast. Hey, Salmon Skins, welcome to episode 50 of Edwin Salmon of Knowledge. It's the episode 50, half a century. Can't believe that we all made it to this episode. So, sorry, very impromptu. I got very excited there. I didn't realize how excited I would be at getting to a half a century. Quite the milestone. If you have been here since the beginning of the podcast, thank you very much for sticking with me. And that's it, folks. Goodbye. No, only joking. I'm going to continue talking on this podcast. I mean, you know that already because you saw when you clicked on the podcast that it was, longer than a minute. So thanks very much. If you have been with me since the beginning of the podcast, it's been quite the wild ride. When this podcast began, it was during the first lockdown, the first wave of the coronavirus, as the pandemic gripped the world. As the pandemic gripped the world, one man decided to throw another podcast out there into the world because there weren't enough podcasts. No, that's not true. Obviously, there was plenty of podcasts out there already, but I needed something to do. I needed an outlet. Of course, I will continue to do this podcast, even with the news that the vaccine trials have been successful, 90% successful, and they've trialed them in over 40,000 people. Now, that bit of good news, hopeful news, as in they may have some vaccines out to people who are most vulnerable, people in nursing homes, etc., etc. Maybe if anyone is in the vaccine industry, if anyone has any pull in the vaccine industry, throw a couple of vaccines my way. No, it'd be nice if my parents could have some vaccines, my brothers and my brother's kids, and that's just my family and extended family basically, and me and my wife. We own all the vaccines, and my wife's folks and brothers, and everyone's wives and girlfriends, and all my friends, and everyone, the whole world. If they could just vaccinate the entire world. Of course, some people are not going to get vaccinated because people have got issues when it comes to vaccines. I guess the fact that vaccinations have been a proven thing for quite a long time, but still that's not good enough for some people. And look, that's fine. I don't care. That just means more vaccines for you and me, right, everybody? I am hopeful. I am a living, breathing result of medical science actually working, because I was saved by medical science. I was born with an upside down head, and they managed to keep me alive all these years, even though my head is on upside down. So it's a rare thing. It's not uncommon. It's just extremely rare, which would make it completely uncommon. Other news this week in political news, the President of the United States has lost the election to the President of the United States. So weird. No, I don't know if you've heard. There was an election in America. There was some coverage of it in the news and on social media. But Joe Biden has come in and has, narrowly won an election. And I go into some detail on that election on my extra episode on my Patreon page. If you want to go to Patreon and look up Edwin Salmon of Knowledge, the name of this podcast, you will find extra episodes. You will find writings. You will find bloopers. You will find songs. There's lots of stuff there. There's nearly 30 extra pieces of content that you can gain access to right now for only €3 a month. And, you pay for a month and get it all and then, unsubscribe. But don't do that. That's mean. Give it a couple of months, because I've got lots of exciting stuff coming up. I've got video podcasts coming up. I've got a video show coming up. Oh, yes, boy, howdy and indeedy. You're going to miss out on all the fun. So if you don't want to do any of those things, and if you've listened this far, if you can spare a couple of minutes to give me a review, I think you can do it on Apple Podcasts. No, I don't think. I know you can do it on Apple Podcasts, because that's where I've gotten all my reviews so far. Just 2 minutes, just give me a favorable review. If you like the podcast, if you like my stuff, it helps me a lot. It helps the podcast algorithms. If you don't know what algorithms are, they're just a series of tropical fish that control the zeitgeist through a system of pulleys and levers. And we don't want to get too technical into it. So I have a half an hour episode specifically about politics and the latest political election in the American states. So guys, if you want to see that, then listen to it on my podcast. Yes. Now, the reason I am doing a bad Christopher Walken impression is sometimes, in the darkest of days, I'm staring at the window right now and it's absolutely lashing rain. I'm looking across over the houses and it's dull. It's kind of dark. I've got the lights on and it's the middle of the bloody day. And that's because the winter is coming. Now, the good news is that the cases for the virus are pretty low. They're in the 200s a day, so that's good. And we have, I think, like another 2 weeks of this lockdown left, and then they're going to slightly lift the restrictions. There is this kind of groundswell of sort of people who want Christmas to go ahead. But I say it's too late for that. I don't think it's a good idea to just completely let everyone go, oh yeah, go visiting houses, go out drinking, because, that's just going to make it all spread again. I think, I am a believer in opening the pubs. I think it makes more sense to have people go to a controlled environment like a pub, where they go in, they're getting table service, they're all separated, people are wearing their masks and washing their hands and leaving within a certain amount of time and going home again. That makes sense. It makes more sense than having a house party. You will come to my house party and we will have so many laughs and we will have the dancing and we will have a lot of fun. That's just the German people who are enjoying the house parties, because the Germans like to dance. They do it in their pants. They don't do it in France, but then they will all dance. And look, we've already gotten to a stage where we're kind of used to this thing now. So it being Christmas is not going to make it any better or any worse. I know some people don't like Christmas at all. And obviously people want to see their loved ones, etc., etc. But I mean, I haven't seen my younger brother, in a long time now. And when it gets to Christmas, it'll be a full year that I haven't seen him in the flesh, face to face. I've just seen him on a computer screen. And I felt like Ed Harris in The Truman Show, just reaching out and stroking his cheek. But he knows that I'm doing that, because he can see me on the camera while we're zooming. And but like, there's always little glimmers of hope. There's always rays of sunshine that come into our lives when we least expect it. And today was one of those days where they released a trailer for a movie called Wild Mountain Thyme, as in the parsley, sage, rosemary, and version. And it's a trailer for a movie that stars Jamie Dornan. Jamie Dornan, what about you? Jamie Dornan here. Famous for being a sexy serial killer in The Fall with Gillian Anderson, who will come up later on in this episode. I'm going to talk about her because she's got a very particular set of skills. So she does. But yeah, Jamie Dornan's in it. Christopher Walken is in it. Emily Blunt is in it. And John Hamm is in it. John Hamm, who refuses to make the movie that I want him to make. I want John Hamm to team up with Kevin Bacon. And they play themselves researching a movie where they're going to be playing cops, partners. And then they get embroiled in this kind of gangster plot. And they have to pretend to be cops to foil a gang. And it's going to be like a meta sort of thing. And it's going to be called Ham and Bacon. So until that movie gets made, I don't want to see John Hamm in anything. But yeah, it got a lot of attention because it is one of those movies that is Irish, in that Emily Blunt, Jamie Dornan, and Christopher Walken are all playing Irish people. And now Jamie Dornan is the only one of those triumvirate of actors. Never get to use that word. Triumvirate. He's the only one that is actually Irish. He's from Northern Ireland. And he's been in a few things. Apparently he did a Cork accent, I think, in a movie that was pretty good. His accent, I mean, I don't know about the movie. I think the movie was pretty good as well. Who knows? The Siege of Jakartaku. The Siege of Jodorowsky. No, that's not what it's called. Siege of something. I can't remember. I haven't seen it, but he plays a Corkonian in that and does a good Cork accent. But judging by the trailer, it doesn't sound like anyone's doing very good accents. You get like little bits and pieces, and it's a little bit kind of all over the place. Jamie Dornan is doing, I think they're all doing some kind of, southerly Irish accent. It's definitely not the Belfast accent, which is kind of easy enough to do. Like, it's easy to do something that has a very specific lilt to it. It's not like this character is from Carlow or this character is from Leitrim, because I don't even know what anyone from Leitrim sounds like. So here's a little clip of the trailer for this movie. Check it out. I don't think it's actually that bad. I think people are sort of they're over dramatically claiming that it's like destroying Irish souls and it's like demeaning and whatever. It paints a picture of Ireland as this sort of picture postcard, sort of green fields, talking to donkeys, riding horses, and just kind of like it over romanticizes what Ireland is, and people get all kind of bent out of shape and think it's hilarious that we're being portrayed in this ridiculous way. But I mean, the thing is, like, it's a romantic comedy. It's a fantasy movie, so it's going to be fantastical, and it's not going to be realistic. It's not a gritty, realistic portrayal of Ireland. It's, there's only one Irish person in the main cast. It's going to be a little bit over the top. It's directed by the guy who wrote the play Doubt, which was made into the movie Doubt with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Amy Adams and Meryl Streep. Of course, Amy Adams was in Leap Year, which is another one of those great. If you haven't seen Leap Year, I think it's on Netflix. It's such good fun. Geographically, it's all over the place, and it's fucking weird. It's a weird ass movie. But there is this thing of, when Irish people are depicted in movies, and it's not like 100% realistic. If it was 100% realistic, it'd be grim and depressing, and it'd be full of characters who were repressed and drunk and crazy. I don't know. I mean, I don't want a realistic depiction. When I'm watching a movie, you want fantasy. And this is a romantic comedy, which is the most fantastical nearly of all movies, apart from, space movies. So, listen, have a listen to the trailer for this new movie and see what you think. I don't think it's that bad. Brendan, come in for your potatoes. Hello, Father. Hello, Brendan. I've made your potatoes. Oh, just the way that Mammy used to make them when she was alive. Yes, I have put them in water and the water has gotten hot and I put a bit of salt in them, and then as soon as they got a bit soft, but not too soft, and I put a bit of butter on top of the potatoes. Oh, they're very good. I like them almost as much as I like turnips and talking to animals as if they are my friends. Oh, did you hear? What's that? There's an American man in the town. He's wanting to be buying up all the potatoes in town and to be bringing them back to New York City. New York City? That's to be bringing them back to. That's what he was saying, and that's what I heard from the 3 people who also live in the town besides us, and from the man who lives in the farm over. He's already sold his potatoes to him. Micheline has already sold his potatoes to this American man. That's true. And now he wants to be buying our potatoes, so he doesn't, Jason Smith Christ. And it's just it's been a tradition in my family for many years that we'd be selling potatoes, and we'll be hopping and skipping, and we'll be jumping in the ditch and digging up the ditch, and we'll be talking to a donkey like it was our best friend, and we'll be walking down the hills, and we'll be staring into the caves, and we'll go into the caves, and we'll have a big old shite and roar, and we'll roar and scream our heads off because we're so repressed, and all we do is eat potatoes all day. And I said, go back to America and get the fuck out of here, Father, and don't come back again, you bollocks. I'm after falling in love with the man, but you can't be falling in love with him. But that is the way that I've done it, and love is a very wondrous thing. Be God and be sure and be fuck. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, maybe it's a little bit over the top, but I think in general it's not too bad. I've certainly heard worse accents. Now, I mentioned Gillian Anderson being in The Fall with Jamie Dornan. Now, she plays an English police officer in that movie. Gillian Anderson is sort of half English, half American. She can do English accents and American accents really, really well. But she can also do, and she didn't do it in The Fall, but she can do a Northern Ireland accent. She was in a movie called The Mighty Celt, and it's really good. It's not flawless, but it's pretty decent. Here it is. Have a listen.
He flew, Ma. The dog flew. Did you turn off foot?
What?
A ball speed.
What is it, a dog or a car?
If he was a car, it'd be a Boston Ferrari.
Lingo. Sorry, Ma. That head of yours is too wild for them shoulders. Now, can we talk about something else other than your dog and this good Joe?
He let me name him and all.
Enough. Now, just you calm your jets. And don't be getting all hyped up about this. You'll choke to death on your food.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad.
Wee shite.
That's okay. That's passable. I think if you were, if she was out drinking with a bunch of Northern Ireland people, they might be like, well, hang on a second there, you're not really from the north, are you, now? But it's good. It's pretty fucking good, I think. It's an awful lot better than Brad Pitt's The Devil's Own accent, which that movie he made with Harrison Ford, where he plays an IRA man who falls in love with Harrison Ford. No, he's taken in because Harrison Ford is a cop who's got, he's like an Irish American cop, and finds out that he's He's on the run. He's an IRA man on the run. And check out this scene. Listen to Brad Pitt as a Northern Irish IRA boy.
Sorry. Never meant for this to happen. Just... Look, I'm in a bind. I don't have time to explain. I'll get my gear and I'll clear out.
What's the money for? I was thinking guns. I was thinking IRA.
I need that money, Tom.
Why? So other 8-year-olds can watch their father's gun down in front of them?
Let me ask you, what if tonight everything you had was burned down around you? What if you and yours walked out on the street and you were spat on? Told you were nothing. You're no good.
So that's like, not the worst. I think the worst is probably Tom Cruise in Far and Away. Now, here's the thing. Tom Cruise gets a lot of heat for his terrible, terrible Irish accent in Far and Away. But Nicole Kidman is also in that movie, and she's also doing an Irish accent. And she has a scene where she's talking about her precious antique spoons. But Tom Cruise, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a classic example of everything you shouldn't do, but you do when you're an American trying to sound like an Irish person.
Joseph!
Excuse me, drunkards. Hello, Grace.
Hello, Joseph. Will I be seeing you in church tomorrow morning?
Sounds divine and holy, Grace. We can share a pew, me and you.
Toodaloo.
Same to you.
She's got an awfully large chest to be going to church.
Shannon, all chests are equal in the eyes of the Lord.
She goes into the confession box. She'll never come out, the little tramp.
Grace isn't a tramp. She's a dancer in the burley queue.
That isn't dancing. That's kicking her knickers up. And I suspect if you asked her to, she'd kick her knickers off.
Oh, maybe she would.
Has she?
Let me see.
Has she?
I'm trying to remember.
Oh, well, think hard. If there's any brain left in your head. Look at you. They're making a fool of you, the ward boss and his friends.
They respect me.
Oh, they do not. They don't respect you.
Enough.
Your money in their pockets and nothing more, Joseph.
I said that's enough, Shannon.
They pickle you like a piece of pork. We're just using you.
I said that's enough.
No! No! No!
Tell me you like my hat.
You're not wearing a hat.
Say it. Say you like my hat.
You're not wearing a hat.
Say it. Why can't you say it, Shannon? Why can't you say you like my hat? Why can't you say you like my suit? I've earned this. I've done well.
Yeah, just awful. Me suit. S-O-O-T. Is that what you're talking about? Suit? What are you, a chimney sweep? What's going on? Yeah, that's the worst. Now, one of the best, I think, better than Gillian Anderson, is Cate Blanchett as Veronica Guerin in the movie Veronica Guerin. She does a very good accent. Now, I've never actually heard what Veronica Guerin sounds like, or maybe I have, I can't remember. But I do remember seeing that movie, and yeah, she just does a very good accent. And in this clip, you'll hear she nails an expression that is very popular in this country.
Yeah, why don't you come in and have a pint?
Too many journalists for me.
You can't join the club if you ignore the members, Veronica.
I know what they say about me.
No journalistic experience. I'm exaggerating the drug problem. My sources are unreliable. Can't spell.
Pretty accurate.
Go away, shite, Willie. I know I'm no great writer.
Well, I think you're a poet, Veronica.
Yes, go away and shite, which is just a great phrase. There's a comedian friend of mine who's an American, Jim Elliott, who does a very funny routine about the phrase when he came to Ireland and he heard that phrase for the first time. He said it's just such a beautiful insult to give someone. It's like, it's one of the reasons I love the Irish. I love the Irish. Doesn't talk like that. It's like, go away and shite. It's like, go away. And while you're there, it's like, it's very instructive, and it's an insult that, has a narrative to it. It has like a story to it. But she did very well with that. And I think that's probably because Kate Blanchett, she's Australian, and they have very kind of weird, specific swears, like fuck a dingo, and motherfucking kangaroos, and all those kind of famous phrases that they have. So she's my number one. Now, the other podcast that I do, Reviewables, we did an episode on this very topic with Peter McGann, the very, very funny Peter McGann, and it is The Lack of the Oirish was the name of the episode. And if you want to check that out, that is on Spotify. It was episode number 26, and all the 125 or so episodes of Reviewables are on Spotify. Okay, guys, so we're going to take a little break now, and things are going to be sold to you. If you want to use the skip button, you can skip twice or 3 times, and then if that still doesn't work, one more time, and you'll probably get to the end of the ads. It's a tiny break in the podcast. It's a tiny little break in the podcast, and we will be back to regular programming now. And we're back, guys. So I have been doing a lot of writing. I've been writing some shows. I've been writing a book. If you want to see my writings and indeed read them, because it's much more fun to read something that's written down than to just look at it and just look at all the words and go, oh, doesn't that look nice? If you read them, then you'll understand what they mean, and you might laugh at the funny parts, and you might go, at the serious, thinky parts. We've had some issues with our neighbour. I've mentioned it on the podcast before. She is a fucking horrible person. And I'm not just saying that because we've been listening to her for months and months, being very inconsiderate. She's so inconsiderate that the lady who lives beneath her, who is, lives beneath us, but she's kind of off to the side. So she's directly beneath our horrible neighbour. So when she has her parties where she's like scream singing and laughing, and then eventually, like she has friends over, and then after a couple of hours, they start to threaten each other with violence, and then someone gets kicked out. So hopefully she'll just run out of friends, and she won't have anyone over. It's been tough. And our neighbour downstairs, Terry is her name. She's moved. She can't take it anymore, so she's moved out. The guards have been called numerous times, and she was saying people on the other side of her are going to move out as well. So she's like literally forcing people out of the apartments. Now, we're not going anywhere. We're staying right here. She can fuck off. And we're kind of, myself and Cara were sad to see Terry go, because Terry has a French bulldog called Benjamin. And we learned his name kind of maybe the first day we met her, the second day where she was with Benjamin, the French bulldog, or Ben, if you don't want to be too, formal. And we learned his name, and then we couldn't think of her name. We forgot her name, and we're like, oh God. So we knew the name of the dog, but not the name of the owner. So whenever we met both of them, when she's coming back from walking him, or, in the hallways of the apartment buildings, and we'd be like, "Oh, hey, Ben, how you doing, doggo?" And Ben's mother, there you are. Well, I say mother, but she's not actually his mother. She didn't give birth to him in some kind of horrific David Cronenberg-esque scene, like in The Fly, where Gina Davis has that dream where she gives birth to a fly. She didn't, she's not a scientist who has like a machine that splices her DNA with the DNA of a French bulldog. David Cronenberg's The French Bulldog. So it'd be sad to see her go, because she was a nice lady. And around here, there's lots of kids that have no respect at all. And now I just sound like an old man, but it's true. They walk around, they're all dressed the same. They've got their fucking hands down their tracksuit bottoms, and then they're like shaking each other's hands. So I'm guessing all their hands smell faintly of genitalia, and that's not a Calvin Klein fragrance at all. So I fucking hate these people, and in some ways they're perpetuating this kind of stereotype that young people are making this virus continue and thrive, and they're spreading it around. They're becoming super spreaders. And now I'm not saying they are or they aren't, but I've never seen any of them wear a mask. And sometimes they're in groups of 15 or 20. And it's funny because there was one night there was a guard just walking around who told one of them to fuck off, which is great. Long may continue. So, guys, to end the show, I have done a little kind of freestyle rap. I've put myself in the mindset of one of these young scuts, and I'm just trying to get on their level, and where they're coming from, guys. So here's like a little rap to end the show. Thanks very much for listening. Once again, if you can give me a review, that would be wonderful. If you could recommend me to someone who you think might enjoy my ramblings, that would also be wonderful. If you don't like the show, you don't have to ever listen to me again. But what you can do is you can go to episode 1 and just play at night. Play it, turn the sound down, and just let it play all the way through. And that way I'll get some hits, and it will help me out immensely. Because all I am is just an out-of-work stand-up comedian who's hoping now that this vaccine will come through, and I'll be back on stage again, doing what I love and making people laugh. That's all I ever wanted to do. So, guys, thank you so much. Stay safe. Stay away from people who are not well, and just light a candle for them. And I'll see you guys very soon. Well, I won't see you, but I'll let you listen to me. I'll give you the permission to hear me. So bye. Yeah, you. Listen to me now. Cooking up some rhymes in my kitchen. Could you need stitching if you're not listening to me. Yeah, north side to the east side. Yeah, starboard side to the port side. That's if you're on a boat. Gotta make it float on the water, or else wear a raincoat, whatever you like. West side to the south side, controlling us with the fluoride. Score a goal, but it's offside. Oh, I like my rice egg fried, please, with some chicken balls. That'll be all. Yeah, this is how we do it. Eating chicken balls. Yeah, it's a delicacy. That's good for me. I'm not eating cotton. Go off, Chris Watson. This is how we do it. Eat and chew it. On the Lewis. Fruit salad. Fruit salad. This is how I do it. Walking down the street. I got my hands on my meat. I'm not discreet. This is how I do it. Then I take my hands off my junk. What do you thunk? Shaking hands. Your hands are going to smell like cock. But I'm not gonna stop. This is how I do it. You look like a fool. You never finish school. Breaking all the rules. Breaking all the rules about going to school. This is how I do it. Yeah. North side to the west side. South side to the east side. North by northwest. Prevailing winds bringing in showers that mainly hit the coast. Clearing up for the weekend. Get out and have some fun with your friends. Pulling wheelies, fuck the gardy. Yeah. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Well, that's fair enough, Father.